The most powerful word you have in your vocabulary is no. And because you've been conditioned and the people pleaser and the nice guy, when you start saying no, it's going to feel quite brash, like it's from your ego or some reckless part of yourself, but it's not. You need to say no more often. And the coolest thing is, because women have been simped for their entire life, when a man is strong enough to say no to certain things, their eyes raise. That they've been overstepping boundaries their whole life, and when a man says, no, I'm not doing that, I'm not interested in that, no, I'm not going to go to that party, that's not for me, no, I can't hang out tonight, it like glitches them, because they've been getting away with being good looking women their whole life. The woman I just started seeing, I'm like, you think men are stupid, don't you? She's like, oh yeah. She's like, when I was 20 and I used to go out, if a guy started talking to me, I'd tell the stupidest, fake, ridiculous, boring story as possible as I could, just to see how long they'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, yeah, they do it, fall for it every time. They just happen to be talking to a hot chick, and I could literally say anything, and they just people please me, tell me how funny I am. So this is the day and age of what hot women have been brought up with. So a man who actually holds his ground and is like, that's stupid, I can't listen to this story, I'm going over here. What? I've never had someone say that to me before. It's like, yeah, of course, because you're good looking and dudes are happy to listen to a crap story. Like when I was like, I don't go out anymore, but I was like, oh, I couldn't imagine going out to get a girl. Like when they know that girl is not their girl, that they're going to hang out with them for like 4 or 5 hours at the place with garbage conversations at the hope of going home for them. Most men will go through hours, days or weeks. This is because they put pussy on a pedestal, like because their need for it is way too high, beyond what it should be, which leads them into trouble. In a relationship, it's like, yeah, you can say that women are gatekeepers to sex, but I don't believe that through relationship, that it's sex is the glue that they want at any point. Because a woman just loves feeling good and feeling the most connection and feeling connected to you when you're a man that they love. And the easiest way and the most powerful way for them is through sex. So it's always on the table and you own it. This becomes the glue. It's like men in the red pill say that women don't love, they love for what you can give them. That like if you're famous and had all this money, and then you lost the fame and the money, that she would dump you. There is some truth in that. But you get to choose what you offer. If you can choose a higher level of consciousness, wisdom that can help them grow in awesome lovemaking, I think that's a better trade-off than money. You get to choose. Why not have all of it, is the answer. But we need to look at where we're weak, because our egos always gravitate towards what we're already good at. This is where the spiritualist who thinks they're awake has no connection in the real world. And when you look at their life, I'm like, it looks like shit, so I can't accept that you are a high level consciousness if the real world is extremely hard for you. That's one of the pillars, and then the worldly is the other. As men who follow this channel, you're doing both. This is awesome. Doing both in this world is the biggest superpower, to be a tapped in guy who's doing his thing in the world. The lane is so open with so much energy that if you can fully step into that, continue on your individuation, tap into that rebellious spirit, as we've all been domesticated and the world is trying to keep you in a box. It is also trying to pendulum swing you to extremes to identify as something other than who you are. Once you let go of your identifications, all you're left with is your masculine spirit, I guess. Your spirituality and masculinity will be an undoing of all the patterns and narratives and behaviors you've taken on. And then you'll begin to do what you want, Doing what you want is the most masculine trait. Doing what you want, but connected to the higher, is probably the most spiritual. They're an undoing process, not a try-be process. Even people like going to their tantra retreat or trying to learn these things, and okay, I've never been, so I can't point out, but I can tell from people who do go and they try learn all these skills, yet you can feel their lack of authenticity and that the skills aren't embodied, where if you rose in consciousness and became who you are, maybe you would innately already be that tantric dude. There's people who are more inclined to certain things. But for me, I remember even when I had probably my first big consciousness expansion moment, and then I was texting my friend the next week and I'm like, look what I'm writing. I'm like, who's writing this? I've never written like that. You know, I was shy, and then you start speaking and you're like, oh, I can speak. There's things we can obviously learn, but if you follow that spark, that inspiration, keep being courageous enough to walk your path. Understand that the world is trying to domesticate you, and every time you overstep with your rebellious nature, there'll be a matrix attack that'll try swing you back to the old safe route. This is the dance. This is why having men who are also on that spiritual yet worldly route that are wanting to be both is so important, and they're hard to find. They're hard to find. I will be setting up a free community for the first 1,000 subscribers that I've had, to have a group of men that are actually on that path, because the people that I speak to, it's often hard to find as they individuate. And it's cool to have just a business friend, and cool to just have a spirit friend, and cool to just have a dude I play pool with or surf with. But there is a part of us that wants to feel nourished by at least one man that we can go all levels. They're harder to find, but it happens. And walking the more rebellious path is having men around you that are also doing the same. If you look at like the successful men of the past, and even the people you'd studied at school, they were all misfits. They were all weirdos. They were all eccentric. They all did great things, and you just study the things they did like school's going to take you there. But it's not, you know? It's like even the people who invest in like Bitcoin and these things earlier, there's a rebellious thing. But it's hard to have conviction without people around you that you can have those big chats. Of course you can have it by yourself. But the more you rise, the more that you'll find, because you can become a magnet to other authentic people through your authenticity. Not portraying yourself as anything other than you are is rare. Rare is scarce. Rare is powerful. You're on the middle path, and I know that is what is needed in this world. I use women as the reflection, and their pendulum swings between the alpha who can't express and the spiritual who loses polarity and has no balls. You're gonna grab what you need from all. Rise in the central pillar. Rise in power. Trust yourself. It's the decisiveness of a man, is like, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going. We have a lot of noise and a lot of distractions. Sometimes we can't even get to the part of us that knows. Use nature. Use nature. Nature will bring you back. For me, I don't do any of those like big retreats or anything like that, but if I'm feeling like sometimes I just need a hike for a day or two, let nature do the work, do my thing, come back, oh, here I am, let's go.